Welcome to episode 2 of Chip Chat, where we're chatting all things the future with guest artist, poet, performer and facilitator Shagufta K Iqbal, and featuring Sophie Shepherd and Ryan the Friar inside the Strange Catch Fish and Chip Shop.
Hi, I'm Meg, lead artist on the 21st Century Super Shrines project here in Weston-super-Mare and self-appointed chip advisor. You're watching Chip Chat, the only show that puts the chips into the art chat. Glad to see that it's Chip Chat! So we're here today outside of the Strange Catch Fish and Chip Bar with artists Shagufta K Iqbal and Sophie Shepherd to chat all things the future. So let's go and get some chips.
You ready?
Yeah, how does it sound?
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, if you press, is it pressing record on sound now too? Sound going?
Yeah.
And video's going?
Yes.
Great, I'll do a clapper
Okay.
to get it.
Sincere apologies from the Chip Chat production team. We got so whipped up in filming this episode of Chip Chat that we made an epic fail to capture sound on our super special microphone. We hope you can forgive our shortcomings in this episode.
Here comes Ryan with the chips.
You guys good?
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Thanks. I just wanted to speak with both of you today over some chips because I feel like there's a real strong theme of the future of Weston in both of your works. Both of you work with.
So at this bit, I'm just kind of really excited because both these beautiful artists work with the written word, and I just confirmed that Shagufta is currently working on a project called Tomorrow's Voices with different community writers in Weston, and that Sophie is in-house at Culture Weston, and then she tells us a little bit about what she does.
So I've been working as a producer on like loads of different projects recently. One of the projects is called Grow Feral, which is by an artist called Sam Francis, who's making they've been doing lots of work in like a lot local Brex's way, so they've been doing workshops with like different groups in the community, and they're making like a micro garden like in the town centre.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, and they put some vending machines up.
Oh, Becky's throwing something in for us here. Here's from the vending machine.
Good timing.
Yeah. So think about the future and like growing and being self-sustainable, and also
turning Weston into a greener place as well.
a greener place.
Yeah. Because we've got loads of different like parks and spaces, and obviously like Italian gardens are used for lots of different things. So it's just to see like all this focus going on, like making it a nice place to like.
It's a real shock when you come to the Italian gardens as an outside Westerner, because the icon on Google Maps is a garden, and you get there and it's a concrete jungle. So, and today when I walked through, there was a food festival going on. I saw a planting workshop happening there the other day. Like, it seems to be more of like a sustainable green space.
Yeah.
That people are doing events there, which feels really nice and alive. And Shagufta, you were saying that in your workshops recently, people have been talking about spaces and places. So at this bit, Shagufta is talking about what she's been doing in Weston, which is lots of writing with different local Weston writers and residents about place and space. And she says, I used to come to Weston as a tourist with my family as a child. I know Weston for the candy floss and the donkeys.
During Shagufta's writing project in Weston, she is hearing first-hand stories from Weston residents on the water and what living by it means to them. Both Shagufta and I said you can't talk about the future without talking about the past.
And Shagufta said the future isn't brand new, and I really liked that. She said it's always informed by the present and the past, and that her work has been focusing on what we can carry into the future with us, like what kind of shared memories do we have to record for the future.
We were also saying that there's no line between the past, present and future. it's all very fluid. And both Shagufta and I believe that there is a good, strong community of artists in Weston who are really in touch and precious and care a lot about Weston and what it can do and how it should be taken care of as we move forwards into the future.
So at this bit here, I'm talking about the format of looking at the future with the lens of the past and assessing where we are in the present and how that's rooted in all of our works, mine, Sophie's and Shagufta's.
Shagufta says, you often find when working with people that things have been done before. Instead of trying to do something new, art can make you look at what is already there, and that's okay and good. Sustainability is also about working with what's there to make something achievable, real and visible to new audiences. That's why the Grow Feral project is amazing, because it's a small achievable thing that can have a big impact. So wildflowers in the garden for the bees, even though you can't afford electric cars.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what Shagufta's saying here, is that small acts of social kindness are just as important as those bigger ones, and that we don't need to feel guilty that we can't afford an electric car. Like, that will come, but in the meantime we can sow these seeds. I think then what I was saying is that our job as artists is to look at what's already there and to pick those things out. We're not particularly special, but we are highlighting and showing what already exists in a special way and from a new perspective. And in Weston, like, loads of things that are special already exist.
In Weston, there's a hell of a lot of broken stories. So the fish and chip shop we're in today is a sustainable fish and chip shop. Fish sustainably. So it's just like, you know, and the chips are delicious, by the way, right? They're amazing. Did you want to go pet shop? You were the pet shop and you were the mayo?
Yeah,
is that right? You take the mayo and ketchup, girls, and you've got your COVID safe box as well. Yeah. So yeah. I wondered,
first of its kind in Weston.
yeah, I believe so. From the research I've done, I can't see any more that are like totally found it.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? It's really
Because
good.
obviously coming to Weston over the years as a child, it is very much about a lot of rubbish, disposable things
Yes.
that are being used, and plastic toys and things that you used to put once on the beach and then people just found to get rid of. So
Yeah, seaside aesthetic feels very throwaway, doesn't
Yes.
it, a lot of the time. So Sophie, you're local from Weston, born here, lived here your whole life.
basically, yeah.
Amazing. What kind of hopes or dreams do you have for Weston's future?
Oh, that is a big one. In terms of like the arts in Weston, I think I want to see, my dream is I want to see like loads more opportunity for the people that already live here and the people who might not necessarily like consider themselves like good enough to make art or like good enough to I don't know, like have a bigger stage for it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean that I'm already seeing that happening, which is like really great since we like, especially since this year, since I feel like everything's, you know, everyone's like, oh, we've got to like start making really cool stuff again. Like it's really all coming out now, and I just want to see like more of that. I want to see like more of my like art friends who I know from Weston. I want to see them like
Step into that power.
yeah, and like have their, I don't know, spotlight and have their opportunities and and see what they can do with that, really. That's the dream.
amazing.
That's the dream. Oh, and I also want to make every person who lives in Weston say really nice things about where they live. Because
make every person.
Absolutely.
Well, I wonder if that is what's already happening in Shagufta's workshops.
Yeah.
What does tomorrow's voice look like,
So
Shagufta?
I, what you were saying, it seems like that's already the case. Like coming in and seeing a group of artists who are really kind of. I mean, some of the artists have moved to Weston, so some of them aren't born here. They made the choice that this is where I want to live, and so they really embraced it. And I love hearing about their relation with the water and the sea. A lot of my work, so my coach collection jams for girls, girls can jam. All the chapters are divided into 5 weeks of the jam. So So Punjab literally means 5 rivers.
Oh, this is amazing! Thanks, I love this so much. Right.
So Punjab is based on these 5 rivers that then become the one Indus river that comes out into the ocean. And so I'm really, really interested in the relationship between water and people and the impact on life, vice versa. And speaking to the workshop participants, the artists, the writers, really interested to hear about that relationship between water and place and how it changes also people and the conversations we're having about your mindset when you live somewhere where you walk down to the beach and it's so open, it's so vast. You can see Wales across on the other side on a clear day, but that's wonderful. And I think sometimes we live, especially within inner cities, are so cooped up and you've got buildings and your perspective's very small. I think spaces like this just allow you to know that you're connected to so much more, and that's really interesting to hear those conversations.
At this bit, we're talking about Weston Artspace as a shining example of a community-free access space for creatives. I think Weston Artspace is a really great space for people in Weston because lots of artists and creatives have been able to come together and find out a bit more about each other. And it's built a really good network for the people that live here and the people that work here.
In my mind, I want more shared spaces and on the high street and where people can just go, I don't know, and do work or not even work, they can just I don't know, do whatever they want. Yeah.
I agree. I think we talk about palaces for people, or people doing socially engaged art, being libraries or meeting spaces and cafes. But for me, I think that art venues and chip shops are palaces for people. More of the spaces where you don't feel like you have to spend loads of money, but you can nourish yourself and you can support local businesses, but also that you can nourish yourself with time with other people that you don't normally get to see.
Yeah.
What do you think, Shagufta? Not necessarily just Weston's High Street, but future of High Street.
Also, that's quite patronising. I don't want to know, well, Weston needs to do this.
Exactly. But yeah,
what's invented beyond the pier now? But yeah, across the High Street. So, I mean, I live across the road.
In Bristol.
Yes, in Bristol. And it's known for having some of the most independent shops on one road, street. And I think that is wonderful. That is really lovely. I mean, I grew up with relatives who had their own corner shops and had relationships with their customers, and they were the local, that's where you can get your shop from. So I do think that is lovely community building. It's wonderful. And I do, from looking at Weston, just from the few times I've been in, I think maybe less for Weston, but for visitors to Weston, is to go beyond here, to go beyond the seafront and actually come into the centre and see what Weston's about. It's got a lot. I mean, we were just talking about how many poetry things and arts events there are. It's so incredible.
Well, I think we're pretty much ready to wrap up. I wonder if we should. I wonder if you guys could help me rate the chips because they've been quite delicious. If we say 0 is the worst and 10 is the absolute best they can possibly be.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you give these chips?
Really good fat chips, aren't they?
Really good fat, yeah, and really crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside.
I'm searching for a number.
Searching for a number. Yeah. I'm going to go in there with a strong 8. And I like the saying.
That's exactly what I was
Well, you go to that. I was going to say 8.
Oh, I was going to say a 9. Yeah.
High scores. So out of 30, we have got 25.
We will have I don't know.
So thanks so much to Ryan for those chips, they were absolutely delicious. And just to wrap up, I've got you guys your own very chip chat badge. There you go. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And this is my wishing jar which I'm starting, which is wishes for Weston, which I'm collecting from everybody who has a chip chat with me. So what I'd like you to do is write a little wish on one of these wish tags and share what it is, and we're going to store it in the wishing jar.
venture out to a Western beyond the pier and listen to the stories.
Beautiful! Thank you so much. Mine is for Weston to have the #1 poetry slam scene in the country. And then I put in capital letters, come to my poetry slam.
I'm just going to ask Ryan. Ryan, do you have a wish for Weston's future? Do you have a wish for what at your hometown? Yeah. What do you
Someone who's lived here, I'd say one thing that needs to be improved is like the homeless and that. Give them an extra chance to get their life back on track.
God, that's amazing. That's such a perfect end. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much to my guests. Thanks so much to Ryan for the chips.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Shagufta Iqbal and to Sophie Shepherd. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we just came up the big wheel here in Weston to talk a little bit about what we just discussed in the Strange Catch. Really, I'm just sewing on the patch onto my chip chat outfit, ready for next interview. So I think today's chat was really about the future of sustainability for Weston, more kind of sustainable industries and businesses and art, and we're talking about the future of culture in Weston and how there's already this amazing scene that's kind of immersed. What I'm trying to say is that the future of Weston could be set in place by the present of Weston and what's happening right now. These local artists, national artists and arts organisations such as Culture Weston and Theatre Orchard and Weston Artspace are coming together to make art that doesn't feel like art in the centre of Weston on the high street. And I think that doing that in the present really sets the precedent for what the future of Weston could be, because at the moment the landscape that we know and understand as the high street is one of shops and like commercial spaces and places and public loos and amenities. But right now it's also becoming a space where you can see the unexpected. Oh, I wonder what we'll see today, because last week Whirligig was on, or Weston Artspace had this drop-in. That's what the future of Weston holds, really. It holds an environment, the high street, the pier, the scenery. It holds an environment that you go and you know you will understand, but a space and a place where the unexpected can happen. And I think that's what's really exciting about Weston's future. But in order to be able to continue, we need to think about sustaining our planet and the environment that we live in, and thinking about fishing sustainably in the waters and keeping the fabric that we know as Weston, all the fish and chip shops and all of the pier and the entertainment and all of that, being able to keep that means having to make sacrifices in the present. So I think what the chat really reinforced to me, especially after chatting with Shagufta and Sophie, was that the future isn't just this idealistic utopian vision that we can magic up, but the future really depends on today, and it depends on the now, and it depends on places like the Strange Catch fish and chip shop, to think about new sustainable ways of doing things in the way that we expect to see them. And I think that the colour and vibrancy that's being injected into Weston's culture and becoming synonymous with the area now, of seeing these unexpected artistic happenings, performances in the street, art displays in shop windows, I think that's really exciting. I'm excited to fast forward 10 years and see what happens here in Weston. Seeing what happens, really. It's quite exciting. We're nearly finished sewing on as we come to the end of our ride. And I just wanted to finish on the fact that the Strange Catch really needs people like Ryan, and people that are enthusiastic and positive about the place in which they live. So we are now inside the Strange Catch. We're sat here with Abby, who is a lovely punter here today. Abby, what have you bought? What are you using?
Sausage chips.
So artists Shagufta and Sophie are going to predict what you have put on your sausage chips and This Chip Chat series has been designed by Megan Clark-Bagnall as a living archive to document the unfoldings of topics and themes uncovered in our conversations with communities and creatives in Weston-super-Mare during our 4-year project, 21st Century Super Shrines. The 21st Century Super Shrines project is managed by Culture Weston in collaboration with North Somerset Council as part of the 4-year-long High Streets Heritage Action Zones cultural programme led by Historic England in partnership with Arts Council England and the National Lottery Heritage Fund.